Is Jeep in trouble, or is Stellantis just freaking out due to the EV competition? Stellantis CEO Carlos Tavares recently made an unexpected statement that has sent ripples through the EV landscape, even as companies like Tesla and BYD continue to flourish. While these legacy automakers grapple with the challenge of turning a profit in the EV market, Tavares' remarks have raised eyebrows. He went as far as suggesting a potential 50% increase in EV prices in the near future. But what's driving this divergence in the industry, especially when Chinese EV manufacturers seem to be thriving? Let's dive into the details. In a surprising twist, cheap Chinese car manufacturers have dominated the EV pricing war, leaving legacy automakers struggling with sluggish sales. Is this the beginning of the end for Jeep in the face of the rise of new EV giants? Amid the electric vehicle frenzy sweeping the automotive industry, Carlos Tavares, the CEO of Jeep's parent company Stellantis, appears to be singing a different tune. He challenges the prevailing narrative that EVs, with all their electric charm, might not be the future we've all been envisioning. Jeep is intentionally delaying their EV deliveries, and there's a reason behind it. According to Tavares, who spilled the beans at Stellantis' first annual Freedom of Mobility Forum, we might be facing a severe shortage of the raw materials required to sustain the EV revolution. We know that we need lithium for EV batteries. However, the current production falls short of the demand. With an estimated 1.3 billion gasoline-powered cars still on the roads, Tavares stressed the need for a transition to clean mobility, but acknowledged the substantial lithium requirement. He further warned that not only might lithium supplies prove insufficient, but the concentration of lithium mining could also give rise to geopolitical challenges. Tavares, a longtime skeptic of a swift global shift to electric vehicles, had previously sounded the alarm about potential shortages of EV batteries and raw materials back in May 2022. For Stellantis, he underscored that certain markets where the company operates are not yet conducive to widespread EV adoption, citing issues related to affordability and infrastructure limitations. As he explained, the affordability factor is a critical concern due to the scarcity, high costs, and volatility of raw materials. He hinted that industry dynamics influenced by these factors could delay broader access to affordable EVs. Nonetheless, Tavares expressed ambitious plans for electrification in the coming years. Following the merger of the US-based Fiat Chrysler Automobiles and France's PSA Group in 2021 to create Stellantis, the company committed to investing over $35.5 billion in developing a range of plug-in models by 2025. Additionally, Stellantis is collaborating with Samsung on a $2.5 billion project to establish its first EV battery factory in Indiana, scheduled to commence operations in early 2025. The automaker's grand vision includes selling 5 million electric vehicles annually worldwide by 2030. The shift towards electric vehicles is undoubtedly gaining traction, but it's far from a straightforward journey. Carlos Tavares' recent comments are just the latest in a series of concerns raised by prominent industry leaders who are beginning to question the feasibility of transitioning to EVs. Automakers are in a race to secure a consistent supply of essential raw materials, and Tavares' company is not alone in its efforts. Competing giants like Ford and General Motors have also inked agreements with lithium suppliers to ensure they have the resources needed to fuel their EV ambitions, at least in the short term. Elon Musk, the CEO of Tesla, has repeatedly underscored the formidable challenge that sourcing these materials poses for EV manufacturers. Others, such as RJ Scaringe, the CEO of Rivian, have echoed concerns about an impending shortage not only of lithium but also of crucial elements like nickel, graphite, and cobalt, although automakers are actively seeking alternatives to reduce their reliance on cobalt. Even leaders in the mining industry have voiced unease, noting that the demand for these materials consistently outpaces the available supply. While experts believe that there are sufficient resources on Earth to support the growing EV industry, a significant portion of these resources remains untapped, particularly in the United States. Gaining access to these materials and subsequently using them in electric vehicles entails a costly and time-consuming process involving permitting, construction, extraction, and other intricate procedures. This has, of course, in turn led to the high cost of EVs available. As we've seen, the electric vehicle market in the US is undeniably growing, but not at a pace fast enough to prevent a buildup of unsold EVs at some automakers' dealerships, or to deter Tesla from implementing new price cuts, as per industry analysts and data. The surge in expensive EV inventories and the need for price reductions may represent a temporary slowdown in the growth of the EV market. However, it could also signal that achieving a significant increase in US EV sales beyond the current 7% market share will be a more arduous and costly endeavor than anticipated, even with federal and state subsidies in place. Jeep has invested substantial sums in EV-related initiatives, with the outcome of the next several quarters holding significant financial implications. If EV production continues to outstrip demand due to the exorbitant costs, Jeep and other automakers may face a challenging choice between lowering prices, thus affecting profit margins, or scaling back assembly lines. Auto Forecast Solutions anticipates that over 90 new EV models from different automakers will enter the US market by 2026. Nevertheless, analysts predict that many of these models will grapple with reaching profitable sales volumes. Reports from Cox Automotive indicate that dealers representing established automakers such as Jeep, General Motors, Ford, Hyundai, and Toyota are contending with an inventory backlog of unsold EVs, equating to more than 90 days' worth of stock at current sales rates. US dealers are now holding over 92,000 EVs in their inventory, marking a threefold increase from the previous year. Overall, new vehicle inventories have surged by 74% compared to a year ago, according to Cox data. If the lithium crisis isn't solved fast enough, Stellantis even warns of a car market collapse if EVs don't get cheaper. The future of the automotive industry hinges on making electric vehicles more affordable. Arnaud Deboeuf, chief manufacturing officer at Stellantis, revealed the company's ambitious goal of reducing the production cost of EVs by 40% by 2030. To achieve this, the manufacturer of renowned brands like Jeep, Fiat, and Peugeot intends to bring some manufacturing processes in-house and exert pressure on suppliers to lower the prices of their components. Deboeuf emphasized that if EVs do not become more cost-effective, it could spell disaster for the industry. Despite substantial investments in this EV transition, the company is committed to maintaining robust profitability. This strategy relies on generating additional revenue from software and services, as well as the introduction of premium vehicles. In the past few months, electric vehicle prices have rapidly and significantly increased. Tesla, for instance, had raised prices by up to $6,000 per car earlier until the recent federal tax credits, following similar price hikes by companies like Rivian Automotive and Ford earlier in the year. The soaring costs of raw materials are eroding profitability for some battery-powered models, as highlighted by Jeep's chief financial officer at an investor conference earlier this month. This upward trend in EV prices coincided with a significant development in the European Union. EU member countries recently backed a proposal to eliminate carbon emissions from new cars by the year 2035. With EU lawmakers favoring the phasing out of fossil fuels in the automotive industry, it appears increasingly likely that most manufacturers will need to transition to EV production in little more than a decade. While Stellantis is committed to complying with this decision, the concern is that policymakers may not be adequately considering whether automakers will have access to sufficient raw materials to support this transformative shift. Tavares expressed this concern, stating that policymakers seem to not care about the availability of raw materials. Additionally, there is a growing demand for EV batteries expected between 2024 and 2027, a period before additional European production capacity is set to become operational. This heightened demand is anticipated to benefit Asian battery producers and, according to Tavares, could pose a risk to Western battery cell production. To address these challenges, Stellantis is actively working on developing 5 large battery factories in North America and Europe with the capacity to produce 400 gigawatt-hours of cells by 2030. Tavares also indicated that the company is open to the possibility of acquiring a mine to secure a stable supply of raw materials. Despite current challenges, Jeep remains undeterred, ready to tackle problems one step at a time. Jeep is charting a new path with a revamped retail model aimed at providing customers with more reasonable manufacturers' suggested retail prices. They plan to shift the burden of higher electrification costs onto their suppliers. This strategic shift aims to keep prices affordable for customers, which is a crucial goal for the company. In fact, they're even considering reopening an old plant to bolster production in the US, emphasizing their commitment to affordability. Jeep is in a cost reduction race over the next 5 years, underlining the importance of keeping markets accessible to the middle class while maintaining the appeal of new car sales. They acknowledge the early mover advantage held by companies like Tesla and BYD, with their production facilities in China driving down car prices. In contrast, American and European automakers are grappling with cost issues. Nevertheless, legacy car makers are diligently working to lower production costs and showcase the true quality their brands offer, as opposed to some flimsy cars masquerading as innovative. That's all from this video, so where do you stand on the EV debate? Are you skeptical about EVs, or are you excited about a future without internal combustion engines? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to our channel for more exciting content. See you in the next one.